Operational readiness. One of the criteria for judging the efficiency of an airport is the availability of operational facilities like runways, instrument, approach aids, lightning, fire and rescue services, mechanical and electrical systems, people movers, baggage handling systems, air bridge, and so on. Airport managers are documenting this aspect of their responsibilities, often with the help of control systems that monitor availability of critical facilities and equipment from a centralized operation control center. In short, the readiness is state of the airport to provide the operational facilities appropriate to the types of airlines and aircraft using the airport. All of this involves a considerable commitment to maintenance on the part of airport management. Aerodrome certification. The principle of central government responsibility for safety aspect of public transportation extend to the licensing of airports. The International Civil Aviation Organization, or ICAO, uses the term aerodrome certificate and requires that all member states put in place a system for granting certification for airports with international commercial service. So the ICAO Manual on Certification of Aerodromes, the ICAO 2001, lists the obligation of the airport's operators and provide a guide on how to document compliance in the form of an approved certification manual. In common with the most ICAO member states, the United States make a certification compulsory for airports used by the air carriers, both scheduled and charter. In Great Britain, the Civil Aviation Authority, or CAA, requires in addition that any airport being used for the flight training also must be licensed. The CAA issues two classes of license, the public use and ordinary. So the essential difference between them is that a public use airport must be available to all would-be operators without discrimination, whereas the ordinary category may be restricted if the owner so desires. The requirements for the licensing or certification of an airport are set out in national regulations, which is specific certain criteria that must be met in relation to pavement areas like runways, taxiways, and apron, and safety areas like overrun areas, marking and lighting of runways, thresholds and taxiways, airport fire and rescue service, handling and storage of hazardous articles and materials, emergency plan, self-inspection program, ground vehicles, obstructions, protection of navigants, public protection, bird hazard reduction, and assessment and reporting of airport conditions, including areas where work in progress and other unserviceable areas. The certificate holder has to satisfy the regulating authority that 1. Airport operating areas on the airport and in its immediate vicinity are safe. 2. The airport facilities are appropriate to the types of operations taking place. 3. The management of organization and case staff are competent and suitably qualified to manage the aircraft flight safety aspect of the airport.
Operational constraints. Visibility. To the weather and current traffic density, air traffic flows according to the visual flight rules or instrument flight rules. When the weather is suitable for flying by the pilot's visual reference to the ground and other aircraft, or VFR operations are possible, depending on the types of weather they can operate in. Operational runways are also categorized. The more visual and instrument navigational equipment that must be provided, the worse the conditions that a runway must operate in. Runways can be classified according to their ability to accept aircraft at different degrees of visibility, namely, non-instrument runway, instrument approach runway, precision approach runway category 1, precision approach runway category Category 2, Precision, Approach Runway Category 3, Category 3A, Category 3B, Category 3C. Non-instrument runway. This is a runway intended for the operation of aircraft using visual approach procedures only. Instrument approach runway. This is a runway served by the visual aids and non-visual aid providing at least directional guidance for a straight-in approach. Precision, Precision Approach Runway Category 1. This is an instrumental runway served by an instrumental instrument landing system and visual aids intended for use of operations down to a decision height of 200 feet and visibility of no less than 2,600 feet or a runway visual range of 1,800 feet. Precision Approach Runway Category 2. This is an instrument runway served by ILS and visual aids intended for use in operations down to a decision height of 100 feet and an RVR of 1,000 feet. Precision Approach Runway Category 3. This is an instrument runway served by ILS and along the runway with further subcategories. Category 3A. This is intended for operations down to an RVR of 575 feet and a zero decision height using visual aids during the final phase of landing. Category 3B. This is intended for operations down to an RVR of 1,600 feet and zero decision height using visual aids for taxiing. Category 3 or Category 3C. This is intended for operations without reliance on visual reference for landing or taxiing.
So next is the bird strike control. Bird strike control. Since the beginning of aviation, birds have been recognized as a hazard to aviation. In the early days, damages tended to be minor, such as cracked windshields, dented wing edges, and minor fuselage damage. Damage also increased when turbine engine aircraft were introduced. Ingestion of birds into the engine can cause a blocking or distortion of airflow into the engine, severe damage to the compressor or turbine, and uncontrollable loss of power. Loss of life through bird strike may be unusual, but airport operators must be aware that the potential for disaster can exist in the vicinity of an airport, where aircraft are operating at the low altitudes at which they are likely to come in contact with birds. International and national aviation regulating bodies therefore have prepared advisory documents that guide airport introductions in method of reducing the risk of bird hazards through programs of bird strike control. So here are some of the typical countermeasures on bird strike. Number one, control garbage, especially the location of garbage dumps near the airport. Garbage disposal dumps should not be located within 8 miles or 13 kilometers of an airport. Second one is to control of other food sources such as insects, earthworms, and small mammals by a variety of measures such as poisons, insecticides, cultivations, and hunting to ensure that the open space at the end near the airport does not encourage a food supply likely to be attractive to be troublesome species. Number 3, eliminate as much as possible the occurrence of surface water that can form suitable habitat for water birds. Control measures include filling or draining areas or netting open water areas. Number 4, promote vegetation that discourages the presence of birds and avoid vegetation such as trees, hedgerows, and berry-bearing shrubbery that attracts birds. Then lastly is where possible, control farming in close proximity to operations if open areas held by the airport for future expansion are leased as farmland. A ban or serial cropping, for example, should be written into the leases.
Maintenance readiness. Maintenance management. The primary concern of operations management is to ensure the continuous availability of all operational services. There are two essential aspects, however, that will be common to any airport maintenance program. A documented schedule of routine maintenance, a comprehensive maintenance management. The primary concern of operation management is to assure the ongoing availability of all operational services. A documented schedule of routine of maintenance. Basically, checklist that maintenance check. The second is same of the first but include the facilities and equipment is changed to be recorded. Preventive maintenance. The process of preventive maintenance is concerned mainly with regular inspection of a system and all the components parts with the objective of detecting anything likely to lead to a component or system failure and taking appropriate action to prevent the happening. Preventive maintenance is the regular and routine maintenance of equipment in order to keep them running and prevent any unexpected equipment failure. Electrical maintenance. There are few systems of an airport that do not depend in one way or another on electrical power. Indeed, the power requirements of modern airports are equal to those of small towns. As part of the public transportation industry, the aviation industry is heavily invested in public interest and safety is always major concern. Accidents, whether caused by human or machine mistakes, can be costly in terms of life lost. That is why electrical safety is important in the aviation sector, and performing regular electrical maintenance checks in one approach to prevent against electrical risks and dangers.
Next is operational readiness, aircraft rescue and firefighting. There is one essential element of the operating system, the Rescue and Firefighting Service or the RFFS, where maintaining readiness applies as much to personnel as to machines. Operational readiness can be defined as the capability to efficiently deploy, operate, and maintain the systems and procedures to reduce operational risk. Operational readiness is the process to ensure that the operations team is prepared for the new responsibility and is set up for the best chance of success for continued operation and maintenance of the new equipment. What is aircraft and rescue firefighting? It is a type of firefighting that involves the emergency response, mitigation, evacuation, and rescue of passengers and crew of aircraft involved in aviation accidents and incidents. Next is safety aspects. Whether maintaining electrical or mechanical system, the nature of maintenance work exposes those who carry it out to certain risks, including natural phenomena such as lightning strikes while working out on the airfields. Safety is a state in which hazards and conditions leading to physical, psychological, or material harm are controlled in order to preserve the health and well-being of individuals in the community. It is an essential resource for everyday life, needed by individuals and communities to realize their aspirations. The nature of these risks can be indicated by an examination of some of the common causes of accidents. These are working on equipment without adequate coordination with equipment users, working on equipment without sufficient experience on that equipment, failure to follow instructions in equipment manuals, failure to follow safety precautions, using unsafe equipment, failure to use safety devices, working at unsafe speeds, and poor housekeeping of work areas. And last is airfield And last is airfield constructions. Despite good maintenance programs, the airport operator will find that major airside repairs will be necessary at some time, which inevitably will introduce construction activities to the movement area. Aircraft construction means the program of construction, reconstruction, expansion, relocation, maintenance, and repair of the various buildings, infrastructure, and facilities on the airport. That's all our reporting. Thank you for listening.